It's funny how football can not only excite cultures, it can change them. One Scandinavian country boasts two of the most gifted strikers the game has ever seen. Henrik Larsson was the model Swedish footballer and citizen. Resilient and athletic, he would score goals for fun. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a new breed of Swede. Cocky and outspoken, he can change a game at will. But only one of them is their country's best. Despite the difference in height, the boys have a lot in common. Larsson's father is an immigrant from Cape Verde, and after starting with his southern Swedish side, Helsingborg, he'd cut his football teeth with Dutch club Feyenoord. Both of Ibrahimovic's parents are immigrants from former Yugoslavia, and after starting with his southern Swedish side Malmö, he'd cut his football teeth with Dutch club Ajax. Post-Holland, their careers look slightly different. While they'd both have stints with Barcelona, Larsson would spend a majority of his career with Scottish giant Celtic. He'd scored 242 goals in 315 appearances for the Celts, but may have saved his best for Spain, winning a Champions League title in his final game with Barca in 2006. The move to Spain was a chance to silence his critics, who claimed Larsson's stats were inflated playing in the Scottish League. But one of Barca's greatest knew better, paying homage to Larsson before the Swede returned home to Helsingborg. He did play briefly on loan with Manchester United, but graciously declined Sir Alex Ferguson's pleas to remain with the team. The career of Ibrahimovic indicates he's shown no real club loyalty. On leaving Malmö, he's played for Ajax, Juventus, Inter, Barcelona, AC Milan and Paris Saint-Germain. He's won 10 domestic league titles in 12 seasons, including a stretch of 8 in succession from 2004 to 2011. But unlike Larsson, he's never won a Champions League. He was at Barca in 2010, but their victories were in 2009 and 2011. And he'd been at Inter in 2009. But they'd win theirs in 2010. While Ibrahimovic has been a dominant force in European football, he struggled to carry a side less talented than himself in international competition. Who knows if Sweden could have made a bigger impact had he been born 10 years prior. If so, he could have played alongside Henrik Larsson at the 1994 World Cup in the US. It was there that Larsson and his Swedish teammates finished third, losing 1-0 to eventual champs Brazil. It was the nation's best World Cup result since finishing runner-up to Brazil in the 1958 edition. Larsson would finish his international career in 2009 after 37 goals in 104 matches. Though Larsson and Ibra played in the 2002 and 2006 World Cups together, the teams lacked the depth of the 94 side. Ibrahimovic has scored his share of magical goals on the international stage, but considering the cast that surrounds him, winning it all with Sweden is a tough task. Ibrahimovic is known for his not-so-Swedish temperament, as his stay at Barcelona highlighted. In his best-selling autobiography, he labelled some of Barca's finest as schoolchildren and had even harsher words for his former coach, Pep Guardiola. Growing up in the tough immigrant community of Rosengård in Malmö, Ibrahimovic was a difficult schoolboy. Unruly and aggressive, he found refuge in the form of Taekwondo, earning a black belt. In fact, he attributes many of his acrobatic football moves to martial arts, a discipline he would follow more than football as a child. By the time he moved to Juventus, he had become a giant, with the feet of a dancer. It wasn't until then Juve coach Fabio Capello forced him to watch video of Marco van Basten that he finally converted raw energy into goals. Henrik Larsson has had a much more organic approach to the sport, expressing his desire to become a club manager while spending his spare time at home with his wife Magdalena and their 2 children. Spare time is what Ibrahimovic has little of. A true national icon, he's trademarked his own name, Zlatan, and has even caused French linguists to create a verb in his honor. Zlatana or to Zlatan means something like to dominate. Neither the player nor his opponents would argue with that. And when they do argue with it, as Norwegian striker John Carew learned, Ibrahimovic isn't one to hold back his feelings. But Ibrahimovic hasn't forgotten his roots, heading back to his hometown to set up Zlatan Court for street football and donated kits to his youth club, FBK Balkan. He even bought a home in Malmö with his wife, who's 11 years his senior. And when he won the Jerring Prize, voted by the Swedish public for their favorite athlete in 2007, he was moved to tears. It was a sign the Balkan boy from ghetto Malmö was finally accepted by his country. Henrik Larsson was Sweden's greatest striker, but Zlatan Ibrahimovic has become Sweden's greatest player. And if he can channel the aggressive energy into winning hardware, he could even be considered Europe's greatest too.